Okay, we have enough audience. Good evening, everyone. One more time. This is Kiran, the trainer joining. I hope I'm audible for everyone. And also I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm both if my screen share is visible and if I'm audible.
Yeah, yeah, we are able to see.
Okay, cool. So let's get into the actual training from now onwards. Yesterday we had the demonstration where I gave a quick walkthrough of the entire course content I had. Now we'll start off with chapter 1. Chapter 1 will probably take 3 to 4 classes or maybe 3 classes, not more than that. So in chapter 1, if you see, now this is the website I'm referring, which is our Isha Training website where the course content is available for your reference. So I'm just showing it to you for the first few classes, after which I will not even come here. Okay, so today I would love to focus our energies completely on these two topics. Overview of software testing techniques, testing methodologies, then understanding non-functional testing and functional testing, right? So let's do a bit of Q&A here to understand our understandings, common understanding, so that I understand how I can set the pace for this accessibility testing training. And in between, I need some acknowledgements from you by a message or by voice or by an emoticon so that I know we are still connected. At least, I should ensure that my voice is reaching out to you and there are no network glitches. Okay. So I'll open a Word document so that I can scribble some notes there. I'll just change the font size to bigger so you can see it. Yeah. So I will not ask the question, what is a software testing? And I'm sure you are aware of it, right? But if I ask this question little differently, what is the primary objective of software testing? And what is the secondary objective of software testing? Who can help me with this? The difference between, what are the primary and secondary objectives of software testing? Give me just a few seconds. I'm stopping my screen share, but I'm listening to you. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry. Is anyone speaking?
Uh, as per my understanding for the primary, it will be like
Mhm.
to
Go ahead.
to find the bugs or the defects for the software that which
Okay.
meets the which it meets the quality of the standards. That will be the primary, and secondary should be like the requirement should meet.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you for that attempt again, Mallikarjun. And Harshita says primary could be user experience, which is okay. But let me tell you from the industry standard. See, when we do software testing, there are two objectives, primary and secondary. And whatever Mallikarjun said, finding the bugs or defects, right? That's actually a secondary objective. And the primary objective is to ensure all the customer given requirements are converted into executable application code. Otherwise, I can simply say all the client given specifications are turned out as features available on the developed application. So that's the primary objective. Example, customer says, I need a login screen, I need a user registration screen, and I need a forgot password screen. Let's say those are the three requirements customer has come up with, right? So then if I take you to a sample application on the internet, let's try to relate to the theory that I'm explaining. So customer says, I'm looking for a login page, a forgot password page, and user registration. So if this is the application developed by my developer, I can see a login page. So one of the requirement is met. But if I scroll down, I don't see forgot password page, and I don't see user registration page, meaning there is no option given to us to register as a new user. So that is failing here, right? So our primary objective is failing. Similarly, if I go to gmail.com, yeah, so here I have an option to create an account, which is user registration. And if I already have an account, I can see sign in on the top right side. So if I click on sign in, I can definitely sign into my Gmail account. So login requirement is there. And you have this forgot email. And probably if I click here, you'll also see forgot password somewhere there. Okay. So coming back to my document, that's primary objective. So what is primary objective? Verify if client specified requirements are met in the developed application. So when the developer gives you an application saying, okay, Mr. Kiran, now please start testing it. My primary objective should be a traceability on the requirements given by the customer. That's primary objective. And after the primary objective has passed, only then we go to secondary objective, where we uncover bugs in the developed application. Right? Now, let us talk about what is a bug. Again, I'm sure most of you are aware, but just ensuring that the first class should be little easy for all of us to be on the same page of understanding. So a bug is a discrepancy observed in the developed application where the expected result and the actual result are different. Again, if I have to give an example, you expected me to speak good English, but I ended up speaking bad English. So your expectations are not met by the trainer. So that's a bug, I would say. And you expected me to join at 9 p.m. sharp, but I joined by 9:01 p.m. sharp. So your expectations are not met with what happened when Kiran joined. So again, there is a bug, right? So that's about bug. So this is the primary objective and secondary objective. So I would like to first talk about this. Now moving further, right? So all these things will slowly take us towards accessibility testing. Okay. Now in the world of software testing, there are so many testing types available, right? So there are so many testing types available in the software testing industry. So can anyone take a guess? What are those testing types that I'm going to talk about?
Is it something functional, non-functional?
Okay. Okay. So yeah, functional, non-functional is fairly correct. No doubt about it. And I would say I will classify testing types as black box testing, white box testing, and gray box testing. Again, still there is a layer I'm going to talk about it. So this is one way how you can classify the testing types, and it won't end here, right? So I'll just give one space here. And now I will say you have two more types called manual testing and automation testing. Again, I'll give a placeholder here. Then I will talk about something called positive testing, negative testing. We also have something called destructive testing. Again, I'll give a placeholder. Then definitely, like Mallikarjun said, we'll talk about functional testing, non-functional testing. Okay. Now I don't know why these are coming in red. Let's make it black. Okay, fine. So these are the different types of testing that we can talk about. And we are not using the word testing techniques. Testing techniques is where when I talk about ad hoc testing, regression testing, retesting, accessibility testing, automation testing, etc., etc. Okay. Now let's talk about black box, white box, gray box. Again, I'm not going very deeper on all these things, but just we're touch basing it, right? Just to understand all the participants are on the same page of understanding. Again, I'll start with simple question. Can anyone tell me in simple, crispy language, what is black box according to you? Anyone? What is black box testing if you have heard of it earlier?
You will not know the code, internal code, but without knowing the code or you are testing the application.
Okay, cool. That's correct, Ravi. So Harshita says testing done from developers end. No, that's not the right answer, Harshita. So let me help you guys understand what is black box. Okay, if I show you an object, right? So let me take here. Let's go to Google search images. Yeah, look at this image. Can you see what is present inside this black color box? Assume that someone has gifted you something and the entire box is wrapped in black color. So can you see the light passing through black box from your eyes, and can you spot the object present inside it? Certainly no, right? We cannot see what is present inside the black box. Now that's where the word black box testing has been coined, meaning the word has been created. So when we say we are doing black box testing, it simply means the QA engineer, meaning the test engineer, is not aware of the developed application tech stack details. So I don't have to know the programming language in which the application is developed, but still I can do black box testing. Again, I don't have to know the database used in that application, but still I can test the application. I don't have to know the programming language on the front end used or the programming language used on the back end, what type of server is used, what type of database is used, what type of tables were created, what are the column names, what are the data types, what are the data sizes, who is the developer developed it, what are the different frameworks he or she has used. I don't have to know all those details. I will simply say, give me the URL of the application so I can put it on the browser, press enter, see the application and start testing it. That's what we call it as black box testing. Now you might say, how do I test it when I don't know all these things? Because we are all human beings. We have common sense. We have brains. All you have to use is that normal rational to test the application logic, right? So if there is a login button, no one has to tell you that only if you put valid username, valid password, you can log in. It's understandable. Similarly, when you want to test forgot password functionality, you know that you have to provide a valid email address which is registered on the domain. Then you will get a password on that, right? Or maybe as an OTP or whatever it is. And if you want to do a user sign up, you know that first name means you have to enter a first name, last name, phone number, gender, new password. So there are certain things that your brain tells you. We know all these things. For all these things like testing login functionality, testing registration functionality, change password, forgot password, adding a beneficiary in the bank, transferring money to someone else, all these testing activities can be guided by your brain, common sense. You don't need to understand the programming language, the database language, the backend APIs, server details, etc., etc. That testing is what we call it as black box testing. And nearly 90% of the testers are black box testers. BBT means black box testers. So throughout the geography, you see most of the test engineers as black box testers. So I have started my career as black box tester you have started your career as a black box tester. Everyone has started their careers as black box testers. Okay, I hope I'm clear now to everyone. Then white box testing, right? Okay, now before I go to white box, I think in black box testing, you should also understand that what we do is you supply input to the application under test AUT, and you will validate the output coming from it. Like if you're testing a calculator, right? So if I open a calculator, now I don't know who developed it. I don't know what is the language they used to develop it, but still I can test it, right? So I can say 9 plus 6. So this is the input I'm supplying to the calculator application. And I know 9 plus 6 is 15. So I'll say equals. So yes, 15 is the right answer. And calculator is also giving 15 only. So my brain tells me 15 is what I should receive, and calculator is also giving 15. So the output is matching. So my test case is completed. My testing is completed. So this is black box testing. Because I never ask developer, okay, if I have to test it, I need to know who is the developer, what is the language they use to develop it, what are the database details, what are the server details. I don't ask all those questions. That's called as black box testing. Okay. Now, then you have white box testing, which is quite opposite of it. So I'll simply write here opposite to black box testing. Here, you need to know the developed application technology details, because here you will not be testing it as a black box tester. Rather, you will test it from the coding perspective. So you will be given the code in Eclipse editor or GitHub or some other repository where you have to test the code by reading line by line and understanding whether the syntax is correct. Is the logic used correct, or is it hard coded? Is there a dead code which is not at all executing? Or is a dry code which is not correct? Or did the developer use too much of commenting or zero commenting? Did he use any outdated functions or functions which are going to cause security issues in the future when deployed to internet or production? All those things will be discussed in white box testing. So the prerequisite for white box testing is you have to be familiar with programming languages, database languages, backend languages, front-end languages, server insights, meaning you should be as good as a developer to become a white box tester. And probably there are maybe 10% of people across the geography who are working as white box testers. So that's not pretty much huge, I would say. So only 10% of the population in testing community are white box testers. So here you test the code, but here you test the application. And finally, gray box testing, it's a combination of black box and it's a combination of, it's a combination of black box and white box. So when I say I'm a gray box tester, it means I can test it from a black box perspective by providing inputs and validating the outputs, which is nothing but functional testing. And in white box testing, I test it only at a code level. I don't care about 2 plus 2 is 4. How is 4 coming? I look at the logic in the code. That is white box testing. And the combination of black box and white box, when attempted together, we call it as gray box testing. So am I clear for everyone on what is black box, what is white box, and what is gray box? They're all basic stuff, but I'm just recapping it before I move slowly towards accessibility. Please say yes or no, or emoticon or a message on the chat if I'm clear until this point. And regarding the notes, don't worry. Whatever I'm writing on the document is just rough notes. I will give you a detailed notes which I have already prepared. You will be going through it once I have the list of participants who are already confirmed. Okay, cool. So don't even think about writing the notes now. I will give you all these things. Okay, so the only expectation from me is listen to what I'm saying and ask questions. Okay, then let's talk about manual testing and automation testing, right? So we have heard of these terminologies, manual testing and automation testing, so many times. So manual testing is an activity where the human being, nothing but a test engineer, does the testing manually on his own or on her own without using shortcuts. So you repeat the same process again and again, right? You repeat the same process again and again. When I say automation testing, It is like you wanted to reduce the manual efforts by automating your efforts or by doing some shortcuts so that your work can be done automatically without your involvement. I'll give a simple example, right? Let's forget technology. Let's talk about general life. So, um, so last month I was in South Africa for almost 40 days. So on a client assignment, and uh, I have to make my own food because in foreign countries you cannot survive with this Western food, right? At least for me, I cannot survive. So for the first 2 days, I used to prepare food in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. But on the third day, I realized that I'm doing a lot of manual effort because I'm spending a lot of time, which is quality time, of course, in preparing food in the kitchen. But I'm not getting that time because of my busy schedule there. Maybe some travel or maybe client meetings or work even at home. So on the third day, what I have realized it, making my dinner in such a way that it will help me even for tomorrow's lunch, right? I mean, of course, that's a bad thing, but still, I have ensured that I cooked more food so that I can consume it in the next day until afternoon. Maybe box it and then go to office and then have it in the lunchtime, right? So I'm avoiding cooking in the morning times because I've ensured that my previous night has accommodated that. I will call it as little bit automation, not 100% automation, right? But still, I'm avoiding my cooking process the next day until afternoon. So I will call it as little bit automation is done because I can always use microwave oven, heat it for some seconds, and then start consuming it if I'm interested, right? That's one example. That's automation, right? If I'm cooking manually, it's manual. Second example I wanted to give you. So yesterday, let's say Shal did not attend the demo class. And now Shal comes and says, Kiran, I wanted to listen to the demo. So if I tell Shal, okay, after this 1 hour is completed, you join the call again. I will explain to you one more time what I did yesterday. So I'm repeating to Shal what I did yesterday again. So that's manual effort. But if I tell Shal, don't worry, I have the class recorded. I will share the recording to you. Just go through it. So that's automation for Kiran because I don't have to repeat speaking again and again. Again, those people who missed today's class, they will go through today's recording so that I don't have to repeat it again. So that's also called as automation, right? So in simple language, automation is something that you do that will help you avoid manual work again and again. And most of us are doing automation in your daily life, right? Automation is not just related to software testing. It's there in our daily life as well. So if I open one Excel sheet, right? So I have a field called ID, and I have a field called name, and I have a field called percentage marks secured. So I have to fill this data for 20 students for one of my testing activities. So I don't believe in writing all those things manually. Since it's testing, what I can do, I can put some dummy number 2, 4, 8, etc. Right? Now what I will do, you all know, right? You can always do this process and it will generate the data accordingly based on the process. Similarly, name. So I will say Ravi, then let's say Mallikarjun, and few more names. You can write it. And you can always do this drag and drop if there is a formula. But the moment it thinks it is duplicating it, this is not correct, right? So then I have to use a different thing. Example, I have to use the formula equal to random. You see, there are so many functions in Excel that will help me to generate a random characters from, let's say, A to Z, I will say. Okay, ignore this error now. I'm not getting into the details of it, but it will generate your random name and then random names will come automatically. Similarly, percentage of marks secured, right? So I'll say this is 76%, this is 85%, this is 90%, this is 10%. And if I do this drag and drop, the data is automatically populated. So this is also automation in my language. When I'm typing it manually, it's manual. When I'm using some shortcut, it's automation for me. Okay. So when I say manual testing, Here, the test engineer executes the same test. We call them as test cases. He executes the same test every day. So it is a boring, laborious process, right? It's a time consuming process, very boring process. When I say automation testing, here the test engineer executes the test using an automated tool, and it expedites your testing delivery, right? So if you're doing it manually, it obviously consumes more time and you have to give more time to the testing process, and customer says my delivery is getting delayed. So to expedite the delivery, you need shortcuts. You need a better productivity in place. So that's where we use automation testing. So for automation testing, you do it with artificial intelligence. You can do it with automation tools like there are so many tools in the market: QTP, UFT, or Selenium, Appium, Playwright, Postman, Ready API, SOAP API, Catalan Studio, Burp Suite, Zap, etc., etc., etc. There are hundreds of tools available in the market. But the answer is not every tool will be used for accessibility testing. So for accessibility testing, there are some 20 such tools in the market. So again, the question is, should I learn all the 20 tools? Not needed. If you learn 5 tools, remaining 15 tools are easy. But I'm teaching you more than 5. Probably 8 tools or 10 tools is what we are going to cover based on what you need to understand. And the remaining 10 tools or 15 tools in the market are pretty much easy because they're all copy paste of these things. Now, before I go to the next topic, are you clear on manual testing and automation testing until this point?
Yes.
Any questions from anyone? You can still ask me, guys. Example,
Hey,
yes, Malikarjun, go ahead.
one doubt. Uh, in that Word document, that black box, white box, and gray box, those
Yeah.
three will not come under manual testing.
Okay, good question. So black box can be done manually. It can be done through automation. White box can be done manually. It can be done through automation. Gray box also can be done manually. It can be done through automation. Every testing that you see can be done both in a manual way as well as in an automation way.
Okay.
Okay, and
So in that
you'll
case, those three will come.
understand.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, please continue.
No. So what I'm trying to ask, like, so those three types will be as a separate part, or it will come under any one of the header in the sense like anything comes under automation testing specifically, or it will come under manual testing.
Okay, so these three things will come under both, meaning I can do black box either in manual or in automation based on my skill set. It's my choice. Similarly, white box testing can be done in both manual and in automation way.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now another way to classify testing is these three things: positive testing, negative testing, destructive testing. So what is positive testing? So in positive testing, your mindset is optimistic and you wanted to prove to your manager that, hey, our application is working. So you're optimistic. So you don't want to comment saying, this is not working. You wanted to tell your customer, you wanted to tell your developers, you wanted to prove to your manager that the application developed is working. So our mindset is positive when we do positive testing. So I will say this testing is conducted to prove the application under test passes all the tests. This is conducted during demos to client team or management team, right? Example, I'll again say, so So if Mallikarjun is my customer or my manager, so Mallikarjun says, okay, Kiran, you are the test engineer. Can you help me understand if the developed application is logging in successfully or not? So to help him, I should not be playing dirty jokes, right? So example, I'm typing some stupid data and then say, I cannot say that, hey, see, the login is failing. Then Mallikarjun loses confidence because he's my manager or he's my customer. So there is a point in your testing where your manager says, Kiran, we have taken almost 3 weeks for testing login. I think now we should be in a good position to deliver this to customer. So can you please show to me if the developed application is working? So I have to convince my developer, sorry, I have to impress my manager that it is working. So I will say, okay, let us use the valid username and let us use the valid password and click on login. And I tell the manager, here you go, you are able to log in successfully. So that's called as positive testing. So positive testing means you are telling your opposite guy, which could be who could be a manager or from customer team or from development team, that a particular functionality is working successfully. So your mind is optimistic, your mind is positive. So you don't want to talk about negative things, right? That's called as positive testing. And when do I do positive testing? Not every day I do it, only during releases I do that. When I'm releasing the build to customer, that's when I have to be positive to show more confidence that it is working. So let us give it to customer. And opposite to that is negative testing. So this testing is conducted to prove the application under test fails most of the test. And this is conducted during the initial phases of testing, which means I still have a lot of time to give it to customer. Maybe another 3 weeks time I have. So for the first 3 weeks, it is only between me and developer. So in these 3 weeks, I don't have to convince anyone. I have to convince myself whether the application is free from bugs or it is still bug prone, right? So if I'm testing this screen for negative testing, I will say, okay, let me choose a date for which I wanted to book an appointment with the doctor. And the date you see I'm choosing is 1st July, which is already over. So can I book an appointment for 1st July now? No, right? You cannot book an appointment for a previous date. So if I click on book appointment button, you see I get a confirmation, appointment confirmation, your appointment has been booked. So that's not correct behavior. Your application is booking an appointment with a doctor in a hospital on 1st July 2025. This is not correct behavior, which we call it as bug, right? So this is negative testing because I'm intentionally trying to prove to someone that I will find a problem in the application, meaning I will find a bug in the application. So this approach, this mentality is called as negative testing. Am I clear, guys, on positive testing and negative testing?
Yes, you are. It is in fact validated in application using both the scenarios, the positive and negative. That is nothing but validating an application for both the conditions, the right condition, wrong condition, to check it behaves as expected and as not expected.
Correct. That's perfect. So 2 comments, one from Ravi, one from Harshita on the chat. Let me read it and answer it. So Ravi says using valid data is a positive test as input. Yeah, that's correct, definitely. And if you're using invalid data, you can call it as negative test. And a message from Harshita, is it mandatory to perform positive as well as negative testing on an application? And the answer is, Harshita, yes. You should not wait for someone to tell you that you have to do negative testing, because you are recruited as a test engineer, whether you are doing accessibility testing or automation testing or just black box testing. It is your imperative duty to do positive testing and also negative testing. Your manager should not come and say, why are you doing negative testing? They will ask you if you're not doing it, in fact. And there is a continuation to your message. Should we perform negative testing on request from clients? No. Client trusted your organization trusted on your abilities. That's why they recruited you. So you have to do both positive and negative testing. You are the deciding factor to do that. Your developer should not decide whether Harshita should do or not. Your manager should not decide. Your customer should not decide. You are the deciding factor. And if you say, okay, Kiran, I decide not to do, then you are not doing your respective duties as a test engineer. So you are becoming a failed test engineer. Did I answer your question, Harshita and Ravi?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, then we have one more word called destructive testing. Okay, so positive, negative, and destructive. Most of the times you will never hear the word destructive testing. Mostly people say, I think we have only positive and negative. Where is this destructive testing coming from? But let me explain, then you'll acknowledge that message also. See, negative testing is invalid data. Positive testing is valid data. That is simple way of making you understand. Then what is destructive testing? Destructive testing is sending too much of data at the same time. Now I don't care whether I'm sending too much of data in positive format or negative format. But if when I bombard the server with thousands of test data, with lakhs of test data, the server might go down and the server might restart. And the customer will start experiencing internal server error, service unavailable errors. So then there is a downtime for that application on the production environment. So that's called as destructive testing. So destructive testing is typically a kind of stress testing, load testing. So it comes under security testing, it comes under performance testing. So I'll say this testing is conducted wherein the application under test is bombarded, meaning hit with huge volume of data. Huge volume of test data. Now, when I say test data, I don't care whether it is positive test data or negative test data. Anything you can choose to check if the server still functions or goes down with 500 or 503 errors. These are the standard error codes. 500 means internal server error. 503 means service unavailable error. That's called as destructive testing. I'll give a live example. Now let me take Nilima as example. So I'll say, Nilima, maybe you can unmute also. Are you enjoying the class now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm asking, have you had your dinner?
Yes.
Are you
No,
joining the
not
class
yet.
tomorrow? Okay, are you joining the class tomorrow?
Yes.
Did you pay the money?
Which
Did you?
money? For what?
No, just like, okay, don't take this serious. Okay, you did
Yeah,
not
okay.
answer, so I'll go
Yeah.
fast. Did you
Yes.
get your salary?
Yes.
Did you get your salary? Do you have a boyfriend? Are you married?
No. No.
Do you like my language? So the moment I ask these kind of questions continuously, Nilima will get upset, right? I think Nilima already probably started feeling what are these stupid questions from a trainer to a candidate, right? That is destructive testing. So I'm not bombarding with one question, how are you doing? I'm asking a lot of questions, few meaningful questions, few meaningless questions. So I'm trying to disturb your peace of mind. That's destructive testing. Right now here, this is between two persons. In software testing, you do it against the server where your source code is deployed. Right? So that typically is considered in stress testing, load testing, performance testing, and also security testing. So there are very different testing training programs again, but that's called as destructive testing. Now, let me know, guys, if you are clear with the positive testing, negative testing, and destructive testing.
Very clear. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Then, if I talk about other side of, right, again, under testing types, I can also talk about functional testing and non-functional testing. What is functional testing? Simple. Testing the functionality of an application by providing a valid input and checking the output is called as functional testing. Or testing the functionality of an application by providing invalid input and checking the output is called as functional testing. I'll give a live example so that you can relate to it. So here I'm choosing Hong Kong as a facility where I want a doctor appointment. And they say this is the insurance program. And I will say this person needs appointment with the doctor on 20th Sunday. And he says the reason is fever checkup. So I've given positive data. since I have given the data successfully and I will say this person needs hospital bed, if I click on book appointment, I should not get errors. The appointment should be booked. So when I click on book appointment, you see I got a confirmation message that your appointment has been booked. That is functional testing. Similarly, let me go back, click on make appointment. Okay, I'm logged out. So let me log in. So I'll choose Hong Kong. I don't want hospital bed. This person does not have insurance. He is booking the date as 21st July, future date, but he is not giving comment, right? Now, since you are not giving comment, the appointment should not be booked because, you have to tell the doctor why you are meeting him, right? So if I click on book appointment, I expect an error message, but unfortunately the appointment is still going through and the appointment happens. That's a bug, right? That's a mistake. This is also functional testing, right? Whether you gave valid data or invalid data or missing data. Example, I chose earlier 1st July, a date which is already over. So this is invalid data, but still application is booking an appointment, right? All these three situations, right? Whether you are giving valid data or invalid data or missing data, like you are not giving comment, right? All those things comes under functional testing. Okay, 90% of the testers in the world are functional testers. Everyone starts their career as a functional tester. I started as a functional tester. You are also starting as functional tester. Am I clear on functional testing?
Yes.
Okay, now the next one is non-functional testing, quite opposite to this, right? So in non-functional testing, I don't care about the input and the output. So in functional testing, we are worried about input and output, the application is taken, right? Something like, see, my company says, okay, Kiran, I'm giving you 100 rupees per month as a salary. So I expect you to work for this project where you have to write the test cases, execute the test cases, submit the test report, go home, come next day, repeat the process, again come next day, repeat the process, and at the end of the month I get 100 rupees as salary, let's say. That's functional testing, right? So at the end of the month, the HR will say, okay, did Kiran come to office? Yes. Did he test? Yes. Did he submit a report? Yes. Okay, here is the paycheck. That's functional testing. Non-functional testing is quite opposite. So in non-functional testing, HR says, I don't care, Kiran, whether you are testing, whether you're coming to office or not, because your delivery manager takes care of that, or test manager takes care of that. I'm worried about, are you coming in proper attire to office, like in a decent formal dress? That's a non-functional characteristic that has nothing to do with my testing skills. And then HR says, okay, are you speaking to customers and helping them understand what testing are we doing? Is your communication good? Are you speaking in a decent language to customers and developers and testers on the floor? Again, that is not related to my testing skill, but HR is evaluating me on that pattern. So that's a non-functional characteristic, right? So every person goes through these functional and non-functional characteristics. Your application also goes through it. Again, let me take second example. After this class is completed, and let's say, Nilima or Maz or Harshita did not yet enroll. So Isha team will say, okay, Nilima, did you guys enjoy the class? Are you interested to complete your enrollments? Nilima says, yes, I wanted to enroll, but I didn't like, okay. She says, okay, Kiran has good English. He's explaining slowly, nicely, the first two classes, but he did not come on camera. Because he did not come on camera, I cannot enroll in this class. So how is that related to Kiran, right? I mean, for enrollment process, but still Nilima is evaluating a trainer on that basis. So that's a non-functional characteristic, right? And let's say there's a classroom training and Harshita says, okay, Kiran, you did not wear watch, so I cannot sit in this class. Because Harshita says only a man who wears watch is considered, good or professional. So I don't have the habit of wearing watches. So Harshita says, sorry, Kiran, I cannot join in this class. But your language is good, but your subject is good, but I cannot join because you are tall, because you don't have a watch, right? So they're all non-functional characteristics, right? So to impress one human being, English is not sufficient. Technical skills is not sufficient. Your dressing is also important. The way you respect others is also important. How you convince others is also important. Attitude is important. Discipline is important. Similarly, in testing process, just testing the output is not sufficient, which is functional testing. You should look at the non-functional characteristics. Now, what are those non-functional characteristics for an application that you are testing? Well, the answer is so many. Example, we talk about performance of application. We talk about the security of the application. We talk about compatibility of the application. We talk about usability factors of the application. We talk about accessibility of the application, etc. Like, like there are so many that we can talk about. Like if I still want to write, we have localization, internationalization, etc. So there are so many other testing techniques that comes under non-functional testing. So if you do performance testing, which is nothing but a kind of destructive testing, you will understand whether the server and the application are scalable, reliable or not. So that comes under non-functional. So in performance, I don't care about input and output. It's about the volume of data I'm hitting to the server. Then in security, I will check whether hackers are able to hack your application. So I don't care whether 2 + 2 is 4. I care about, is someone hacking my calculator? Compatibility. So compatibility is like, is my calculator working on Mac? Is it working on Windows? Is it working on Linux, Ubuntu, Unix, etc.? That's compatibility. Is my application working on Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, Internet Explorer, Opera, etc.? Mobile browsers. That's compatibility. Localization means, is the application developed available in a local language so that people can use it, like WhatsApp example I gave yesterday. So I don't care about whether send button is working or not. Are you able to use the WhatsApp in a local language? Then internationalization, meaning an application developed for local flavor, can we scale it up for global audience also? Like can everyone use it? That's internationalization, right? Example, if all these participants are from Hyderabad, now I can talk to you in Telugu and train you in Telugu. That's localization, right? Maybe you guys have a specific request. Kiran, we are probably from Telugu medium, so can you explain in Telugu? Only then we'll enroll. That's localization. And if I can cater to that requirement, I am non-functional also, correct. And maybe another batch comes and says, boss, we want trainings in English. Can you do that? Now, if I can cater my training in English to a wider audience, that's internationalization. In simple language, I'm giving you definitions. Again, they all come under non-functional, right? Accessibility, which is our main course, right? So accessibility, you know what is it, right? Is the application usable by all types of people, whether they are disabled or enabled, whether it is she or he, whether computer literates or computer illiterates, whether they are from South India or North India, whether they are from Europe or India or Africa or US or UK or Australia, doesn't matter. Irrespective of any biased things, is the application accessible to every human being in the world, irrespective of gender, irrespective of age, irrespective of caste, irrespective of religion, irrespective of anything. It's called accessibility. That comes under non-functional testing. Okay. Now, how do we do non-functional testing? Oh, that's a very bigger topic to talk about, because performance itself is one topic. Security itself is one course. Accessibility itself is one course that you have enrolled in, like that. Okay, before I continue, do you guys have any questions on functional testing and non-functional testing? Questions, confusions, queries, please ask me now. Because only today we have time to talk about basics. Tomorrow onwards, we don't go very basic at all. Meaning we talk about the actual accessibility testing. So if you have any confusions or queries or disagreements with what I said, feel free to put it forward. Okay, Ravi says no. Thank you, Ravi, if there are no questions. Okay, Nilima says no. Harshita says clear, no doubts, fantastic. Thank you very much. So I will assume my pace is okay, my language is okay, we are going in the right directions. Okay.
Hey.
Now, yes, go ahead, Mallikarjun.
Sorry. Yeah. Can you just go back to Word document?
Sure.
Okay, how we segregated this non-functional, right? For example, the performance, security, so and so. So in the similar fashion, do we have something under functional subcategory?
Of course, yes. So under functional, the list is very huge, but let me also write for you. So we have
Yeah,
something called
yeah.
smoke testing, sanity testing, then we have retesting, regression testing, ad hoc testing,
Okay, got it.
exploratory testing.
Okay,
Then the list continues. We have then monkey testing, big bang testing. The list continues. User
System
acceptance
testing,
testing.
end-to-end testing.
Yeah, thank you for helping me. E2E testing. Then you have user
Database
acceptance
testing.
testing. Yeah, the list continues. I think we can write one-page testing definitions there.
yeah, got it. Got it. Thanks, Ravi.
Cool,
No
cool.
problem.
Thanks, Kiran.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, again, so I understand that there are certain things I might be jumping here and there, but do not assume that I will not answer your questions. Even if there is a small question that you wanted it to be clear, you have two options. One, ask me in the class. Two, ask me on the WhatsApp group also. There also you will get an answer. Or if you want me to repeat that in a better way in the next class also, I can do that, right? So I am a trainer who enjoys questions, and don't think that if I ask a question, the trainer gets irritated. So I don't belong to that category. But if you're not asking questions, then definitely, yes, I might lose interest. So more questions from you, more interesting the class will be. Okay, finally, before we conclude, we have 5 more minutes. I just want to talk about simple conclusion for what we discussed. So today, we just discussed about what is the primary objective and secondary objective of software testing, and in how many ways testing can be spoken. Testing can be categorized: black box, white box, gray box, manual and automation, positive, negative, destructive, functional, non-functional. And finally, we're all here for accessibility testing, right? I did not talk about that. I spoke something different, but it's all necessary. So now finally, what is accessibility testing, right? So today, if someone asks you at your home saying, okay, you attended 1 hour long class, do you at least know what is accessibility testing? You cannot say no, right? You should know something. So I will tell you what is accessibility testing. Maybe I'll try to get answers from you. So you tell me, is accessibility testing functional or non-functional?
Non-functional.
Yeah. So the first answer is it's a non-functional testing. Now, second question, just take a guess because I'm sure I did not answer it in the class today. Do you think accessibility testing comes under manual testing or automation testing or both?
Both.
Is
Both.
Both.
Yeah. So accessibility testing can be conducted manually as well as automation. Okay, so the answer is both. Next question. Is accessibility testing, should I put it under positive or negative or destructive? Again, take a guess, okay? I'm not saying I told you. Take a guess. Because yesterday I told you what is accessibility testing based on my yesterday's class and based on today's class. Yeah, perfect. It is based on WCAG guidelines. Agreed. But the question is, do you put it under positive testing or negative testing or destructive testing?
Yes, positive and negative will come out.
Okay, I'll go for democracy. So one more answer I need from anyone else. It's okay even if it's a wrong answer.
I feel the same. It can be negative, it can be positive, both.
Okay, so unfortunately the answer is it's only positive testing. It won't be, it will never come under negative testing. It will never come under destructive testing. Okay, if you wanted to know why, you'll understand it probably from tomorrow onwards, right? Because you will get practical exposures. Typically, negative testing comes only under functional testing. And all non-functional testings, they typically follow positive testing pattern only. Because it's a very expensive testing, we cannot afford to do negative testing on non-functional. And one more question. Do you think accessibility comes under black box, white box, gray box?
Black box.
Yeah, mostly it is black box, but at times it can be white box as well if you have the skill set. Okay, only if you have the skill set, but we are all black box testers, so I will go with the answer black box, but still it can also fall under white box testing as well. Okay. And last question, do you think accessibility testing should be tested for primary objective or secondary objective or both?
Both.
Yeah, because they are objectives, it has to match both objectives of software testing. Cool. So now the takeaway for you today is, what is accessibility testing? At least I have not given you definition yet, but you can tell it's a non-functional testing. You can do it in both manual ways and automation ways. Our course is covering it, and it's a positive testing. It can be done in WBT and BBT. We are covering black box testing, not white box testing, because I'm not a white box guy and you are not a white box guy, and it should match both the objectives, right? So our course will focus on all these things. 90% of the points I mentioned, our course will cover it. From day one until the last day, we'll be talking about all these things. Okay. So with that, we conclude our session today, and tomorrow we are going to talk about what is usability testing and how to measure it. Now you might say, hey, what is this usability testing? Where is it coming from? It comes again from non-functional testing. And the father of accessibility testing is usability testing. Otherwise, usability testing has a sub-testing technique called accessibility. So I can also say what is accessibility testing here, but that's not correct because I'm teaching you, I'll use the right terminologies. Tomorrow we are going to talk about what is usability testing and how do you measure it. Okay, it's a theoretical stuff again, and you will understand it. You will enjoy it also the way you had some basics today. And what else? Yeah, so this is the notes that I'm talking about. So I have my Google Drive for all the programs I do. So this is for accessibility testing. So I'll be giving access to this testing material folder, which has the accessibility testing notes, the reusable test cases, and the checklist, and a quick mind map. So this is the notes I was telling you that you don't have to write. My notes actually talks about it. You see here, I have the notes already here. The detailed notes is available. It covers everything that I'm teaching you. Okay, I just wanted to show that. And you will get access to these notes once I get your email addresses from Isha team. Right? Until then, don't worry about the notes. Just keep guessing, keep thinking about the notes. You'll get it. Okay. Thank you very much for joining our day one training program. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Good night and take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.